In 2022, SAG-AFTRA members voted overwhelmingly to ratify the SAG-AFTRA commercials contract. The key provisions in this new agreement are an incredible win for members with so many benefits, including over $120 million in new financial gains. Also, a 10% increase in session fees, flat fee, and per cycle rates across most digital and traditional media. We have gone over a number of different areas of the new commercials contract in previous programs, and today we're going to look at rates in the first episode of a three-part series on the new commercials payment structure. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am SAG-AFTRA Executive Vice President Ben Whitehair. Thank you all so much for joining another SAG-AFTRA program on YouTube. We're joined today by American Sign Language interpreters Joe Rivera and Romina Mena. As a reminder, as always, today's program is being recorded so you can watch the replay on SAG-AFTRA's YouTube channel, along with all of our other amazing content. Okay, the new commercials contract has streamlined and simplified the payment structure, so it's more predictable, which makes it that much easier for advertisers and agencies to budget for the spots, calculate payments, and therefore make it easier for them to shoot commercials through the union. Here to walk us through these changes is the SAG-AFTRA National Director of Commercials Contracts, Tracy Hyman. Tracy is an incredible advocate for SAG-AFTRA members and has worked tirelessly to not only support our members, but also to enforce some of the most groundbreaking union contracts in the entertainment industry, frankly, anywhere in the world. And I want to thank again Tracy for her unwavering commitment to our members and offer my congratulations on the 15th anniversary with this organization. Tracy, it is such an honor to have you with us here today. Shall we get this show on the road?
Absolutely. Let's dive into rates.
Let's do it.
Okay.
There we go.
So under the new commercial structure, one of the biggest changes are our rate structures. So let's first talk about what are the types of use that your commercial is going to have and how you're going to get paid for them. So we'll start with linear. Big fancy word for television. So the linear types of uses are Class A, which, as you may remember, is when a commercial runs across the country and the same commercial break in the same show, and everyone sees it at the same time. We have wild spot, which is when a advertiser picks and chooses the markets or the cities that they want to air in. And now that includes Spanish language. The cable use is, of course, cable channels, HGTV, and now includes the Spanish cable. We have local cable, which is when it's similar to wild spot, when a advertiser places the spot in certain cities or markets, but on local cable. And that's up to subscribers up to 1 million, or between 1 million and 2 million. We used to have two types of dealer use, dealer A and dealer B. We've now combined them, but the requirements are the same. It is either that a manufacturer or a corporation or a company that is creating something, let's say a car manufacturer, when they create a commercial and then distribute it to various dealerships across the country. And then the dealerships are the ones who buy who are placing the ads. The other type of dealer is when you have a company that has its own brand company stores. And the parent company creates the commercial and then delivers it to the various company-owned stores around the country. We have ION and DigiNet, which is like Own TV or MeTV. We've combined three types of use, Class B, Class C, and unwired, to now be called All Other North America. And then we still have Spanish program. So those are all of the TV types of use. Now for digital, we have streaming, which are abc.com, Hulu, Peacock, where you're watching your shows now. Traditional digital, it covers social media, YouTube, company websites, as well as when an ad is placed on, let's say, Wall Street Journal website or on a search engine. And finally, we have social media, and YouTube, which is its own separate type of buy. We still have theatrical industrial use, foreign use, and we've added a new category called gaming and emerging platforms, which will be addressing commercials that are on virtual reality, in the metaverse, sort of what's next to come. We wanted to get ahead of that before it really blew up. So let's talk about how you're paid for these types of uses. So we still have Class A and ION Diginet as a pay per use for 13-week cycle. Class A has a cap now of $20,000 for on-camera performer and $15,000 for VO. And ION Diginet can either be paid per use or for a flat rate for 13 weeks. Now, all the other types of uses, we now have 3 different use periods: 4-week, 13-week, and 1 year. And those include all of the linear station types of use that I said before, as well as streaming and traditional. All can be purchased for either 4-week, 13-week, or 1 year, or a combination of those lengths. Social media YouTube is purchased in 30-day increments if that's the only type of use you're buying. And it can be moved to other media as long as you're paid for the use in that other media and you receive an additional session fee. Foreign use is still paid for a full 21 months use. And theatrical industrial can either be paid for 30 days or for the full 21 months. Now, as I said, there are different types of digital use categories that we've created. We have streaming, which is where you're watching your content for a lot of people now, is Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus, ABC.com. We have the traditional digital, which includes social media and YouTube, company websites. We have gaming, and we have the social media YouTube when that's the only type of use. The thing that we did do is now when a company purchases streaming, they get these other 3 types of use included. So you could purchase traditional digital alone, gaming alone, or social media YouTube alone. Or if you're paid for streaming, your commercial could air in any and all of these types of use. Talk a little bit more about the structure. We've created 2 buckets. We have a linear and linear plus digital use, which includes automatic exclusivity, and session and holding fees can be applied to all types of use. What that means is when your commercial is used in any of those manners, you will be held exclusive to that product and cannot do competing commercials. The second bucket is traditional digital use only, meaning there's no other type of use like streaming or linear. For that, exclusivity is not automatic. The company would need to bargain with you for exclusivity. Session applies, but if they do bargain for exclusivity, the holding fees do not apply. So let's look at this new structure and what it visually looks like. Again, we have a 4-week, 13-week, and 1-year buy. Class A is still per use during a 13-week period. But the others, such as national cable, local cable, they have a set fee. So no more what cable channels is it running on, how many units, add them up and come up with the figure. We now have a set rate for 4-week use, 13-week, or 1-year use on cable channels. We have local cable. We have wild spot. No more are we counting up the unit values for a city or a market. It's now a flat rate. What we did do was for the 13-week and 1-year use, we separated out the difference between purchasing all markets or purchasing markets, but excluding New York and LA. And so we've made 2 different rates if it's a 13-week or 1-year buy. If you're buying a 4-week, we haven't made that distinction and you'll be paid for all markets. Dealer, Spanish language, and all other North America are now based on the structure of the 4-week, 13-week, and 1 year. So you get your flat rate for those uses. You do not have to, again, guess at where they may air it or have no indication of what funds might be coming. If they use it, you have what the flat rate will be. Continuing, we have DigiNets, which again is still per use, or it can be a $5,000 13-week cycle payment. Traditional digital is 4-week, 13-week, and 1 year. And streaming, which you'll remember includes all other digital use types, also can be bought in those lengths. And finally, for gaming, that's freely bargained for use and for exclusivity. Short and sweet, just the way we wanted to do our rates. Wanted to make sure that it was simple, and the flat fees we think will make a real difference in helping performers know what they'll be getting and our advertisers being able to budget better.
Amazing. Tracy, thank you so much for walking us through that. I really do appreciate the simplicity. And I'm know that we've already seen and will continue to see this making a big difference in the volume of union commercials that come to our members, as the agencies and clients are able to budget out that way, and that we as performers can have a better sense of what we're going to get paid for these things, which I know for me, that's often the first thing. Audition notice comes in. Okay, where's this being used? What type of money are we talking about here? Have some questions from members for you.
Sure. First
up, is the price listed for WildSpot for one market? Is their question.
No, we no longer have to worry about that. When they pay for WildSpot, they can use it in any number of markets that they want to for that period of time for that rate.
Okay, got it. Simple. Okay, under the new 2022 commercials contract structure, the question is, are session and holding fees applied against use?
Yes, that hasn't changed as long as you're within that first bucket that I showed, which is when they're buying linear or streaming or linear plus traditional digital streaming with some combination of all of those. That's when exclusivity is automatic, and that's when session and holding fees apply. The difference is when it's a traditional digital only buy and holding fees are not due if they don't bargain for exclusivity.
Okay, got it. Next question from members. Is the flat fee for cable use for use on one station or on all of the stations?
Back to our simplicity, just like with WildSpot, no longer worrying about how many cable stations and what they add up to. It's unlimited use on cable channels for that length of time for that flat rate.
Okay, got it. Again, simple, much easier to understand for everyone. I love it. Okay, how did the Spanish language provisions of the traditional contract change under the new 2022 commercials contract structure?
Yes, this was a huge change. So previously we had something called Section C, which discussed Spanish language, and it broke out Spanish program use, which would be on similar to Class A, where it's like Telemundo and the main national channels. Then we also broke out the Spanish WildSpot and Spanish cable. Now, to make it that much simpler, we have included, when you buy WildSpot under the English language market, you now get the Spanish language WildSpots too, as the same thing for cable. They no longer have to divide out which are the cable Spanish stations and how are those paid versus the English language general market. It's now paid and covered as one. The only difference is we did keep Spanish program. So those would still be a separate payment, but again, a flat fee.
Okay, fantastic. This last question here is, does the payment for all other North American use cover unlimited airings on those media types, or does payment need to be made for each media type, Class A, B, or not A, B, C, and unwired?
Yep. They're as one. They're now a sort of their own entity called All Other North America. So when you do get a payment, it could be running in any one of those three or a combination of those three types of airings.
Okay, got it. Those are the questions that people had. I think what again excites me, and I know that you and your team and a tremendous number of SAG-AFTRA members on committees and the boards and otherwise have worked really hard to say, how can we make sure that our members are being compensated fairly in the way that commercials are happening now, but also to be easy to do so that it makes it that much easier. And any perhaps previous complaints about, oh, it's so hard and we can't budget and we don't know, no longer the case. So we can certainly communicate that to the industry. If performers have questions, hey, my spot is running, is this covered? Obviously, they can watch this video, rewatch it, but I'm sure there will be, individual questions that come up. What's the best way for members to get those answered?
Absolutely. You can give us a call or you can send a question to our email, which is com.coedinfo@sagaftra.org. Call us with your check in hand. We'll be happy to walk you through it. If you have questions ahead about intended use or how it works out, we're always available to answer questions. It's a new contract for everyone. I know people have questions and we're more than happy to answer it. We want to get as many people educated on the new structure as we possibly can, so everyone feels comfortable with it. It's a big change. Amazing. And I assume if there are commercial agents or other reps or anybody else who have questions, they can reach out as well. Absolutely. And we've been doing presentations for them and speaking to them this whole time. So we're available to anyone, including our signatories, to answer any questions that they have. Fantastic. This is great. Well, Tracy, I love how simple this was and relatively easy to digest and get a sense of how the new commercials structure is in place for union spots. So thank you so much for making the time to be with us. For everyone, if you want to know more about the new commercials contract, of course, the SAG-AFTRA YouTube channel has a number of videos where we're covering payment structure, going to cover editing provisions and MPU and holding fees, and of course, the SAG-AFTRA website, or reach out to the union with questions. As a reminder to everyone watching, this presentation, of course, is available to replay. So watch it again. You can send the link to your friends, your agent, anybody who has questions. And of course, there's a tremendous amount of other content on our SAG-AFTRA YouTube channel that I know you will find very valuable. On behalf of the whole team here at SAG-AFTRA, thank you so much for watching, with a special shout out to our regular viewers who tune in each week for our educational live streams. As always, if you have things that you would like to see covered on these, shoot us an email, pteoe@sagaftra.org. And again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get continued updates of all of the amazing content that we're posting here. Thank you so much.